Hello everybody, this is Teach, here with our second anniversary for Blue Rhapsody and the With Voices series. 2 years it's been, and I now have 3 series under my belt and 2 more along the way. One major difference from last year is the Blue Rhapsody team now has members who are helping out on a regular basis so that we can expand and grow for you. Right now I am doing double time with Secret of Mana Theater with Voices and Undertale with Voices Genocide. Though it has been an uphill battle for me these past few months, please know that I am now halfway through Undertale with Voices Genocider and 2/3 done with Secret of Mana Theater with Voices. Expect a few new series to pop up once I get done with these 2. In the meantime, I'm going to give you guys what you came for. Time to start the Q&A. Alright, this is Teach with my fellow Blue Rhapsody regulars here at our With Voices Skype chat, and we're going to start the second anniversary video here. Starting off, well, actually, we're just going to be doing a Q&A from everyone who sounded off in the pre-video that I made. So let's start this. It says, from Alex Sounds, to everyone, what made you want to voice act?
What inspired me to voice act was audiobooks, like books on tape. I was always inspired by the way that good audiobook narrators were able to do every single character. And I wanted to do that too. If you ever read, if you ever listen to the Harry Potter books on audio tape, Jim Dale, he is great with that.
Intriguing. Just to know, we are not sponsored by Harry Potter, so don't get the wrong idea.
Yeah, audiobooks have kind of inspired me in a way, but a lot of times I might see something like a webcomic or a project or a game and say, hey, you know what? That thing could really use some voices in it. You know, and then I try to envision what some of the voices of the characters sound like, and I think that's what inspired me to voice act.
So sort of taking your imagination and putting it into reality.
Best thing to do with imagination.
Before, I used to do a lot of videos, a lot of walkthrough-esque videos that involve talking, and for all intents and purposes, you want to go watch them, then fair warning. And but voice acting regards, I wasn't the biggest fan of it at first though, but I did recall I did recall though after seeing some of Teach's projects, I thought, this is pretty good. I'm enjoying this though. And I remember when seeing Teach was holding auditions for Secret of Mana, I remember thinking, I guess I'll try this out. I mean, there's nothing to really lose. It seems like a fun project. So I gave it a go, and here I am now.
That's good.
Very good. Very good.
I like it. So let's see, because I don't want to ramble. I've always been always been fascinated with voice acting as far as watching a lot of cartoons. I remember being a kid, and I would always recognize my favorites like Tara Strong when she does Timmy Turner and Bubbles, and then there's Tom Kenny with SpongeBob and whatnot, and it's like I remember I remember when there was these Pringles chips that had questions and answers put on them. I actually made one up to a student in the 5th grade, and I was like, who's the voice of Jimmy Neutron? And I just went Debbie Derryberry, and it was like,
oh boy.
And then I don't know what his reaction was to, but I don't think he reacted to it, but I could just imagine that it's like, are you sure that's a question? I don't think they would. And so, anyways, but the thing is that I didn't really know that acting was really important as far as doing plays or something like that. I know I had to do one during the 5th grade where it's pretty much required for the whole class to do it, so I didn't grasp the concept of auditioning. And I remember enjoying it and wanting to do more of it, but I kind of forgot about that until I was told about that. So it basically, so I haven't really done much acting since then, and like a Boy Scouts film production merit badge requirement where we shot like a snowball fight, and I remember that I was supposed to be like one of the bad guys, and I was told to lay down either unconscious or dead, and it's like for some reason I was able to not move at all, even though he, as a victory move, he chucked a snowball right at my freaking nuts, and I didn't even move. I didn't move. So it's almost like destiny. So long story short, we cut to after high school, where and it's like it was basically during high school where I would always imagine a lot in the shower of just me being a voice actor, as far as like, you know, the stuff that I've been into at the time, such as Family Guy and whatever. And it's like, you know, it's like, how could I be inserted into the show? That's what I was always thinking. That's when I discovered sites like Voice Acting Alliance, and auditions for other stuff online coming from other sites and whatnot. And it's like, so you actually do you do this stuff online. So it's basically just me discovering these sites that basically I just wanted to give it a shot, and here we are.
Grasping in Seth's glory.
Wait, you got hit in the nuts with a snowball, so now you're voice acting?
Nice.
That was a good tipping point.
That's getting hit by a snowball is destined for me to be a good actor.
Okay, good.
Because otherwise I could have just cried my ass off, as far as like, oh my god, I'm supposed to not move.
I did a lot of theater and acting festivals in high school, but after graduating high school, I kind of lost touch with the activity and missed it a lot for years, but never really had an avenue to perform it or anything. And there aren't a lot of like community centers and acting stuff in the area that I could get to easily while still doing my job. But then I realized that voice acting was a thing, so then I gave it a shot and auditioned for Mogeko Castle with voices, and then it happened.
I still can't believe that was your first one.
Yeah!
It was from my ignorant mind, it was a good first roll.
Oh, thank you! Lots of learning.
Okay, so for me, what made me start voice acting was, I'm a very quiet child, and I don't really have the social skills needed for everyday socializing activities. And so, because of this, I really don't talk a lot, even though I really want to talk to other people. Since I was just super shy and such. So, for me, because I'm often home by myself, I would just talk to myself and like read aloud and all that stuff. And when I found out that you don't really have to be a certain age or anything to just do voice acting for fun, I was really excited because it was the way for me to finally have my voice heard, even if it was like through a character. So I started up voice acting, like, yay!
Oh, we love you, Minty.
Yeah.
Well, I am studied acting for a long time, and voice acting became kind of a spin-off of that enthusiasm. Most of my original voice acting gigs can be found from this site called Manic Express, and they did I am a video reviewer there, and they have this podcast place, and I regularly contributed to them. And then when the podcast place started to kind of become regular, I decided to see out what else internet has to offer in the voice acting business, and I found several casting sites, voice acting, alliance casting, Club and such, and that made me want to pursue for this branch of acting more.
All right.
To all members, what is the most difficult project you'll ever do in the With Voices series?
How are we supposed to answer that though? Isn't that kind of your thing?
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah. I answered. I actually replied to that by saying, just to clarify, are you talking about a With Voices series we're about to do that's difficult, or a series we've done that's difficult? And then he said, a bit of both. Your future projects and the past projects. Don't go telling the whole.
I think maybe it's like, what's the most difficult project you'll ever do? I don't know. I'll probably be the one who answers that question, but maybe you guys could.
Well, yeah, we can do our past ones.
You can do your past ones. Yeah, you do your past ones, and I'll answer the meat of the question.
The most difficult project that I've done yet so far has to be Undertale with voices, and that's because they had two reasons. Like, one was because that I kind of had a bit of a problem getting Sans' voice the way that Teach wanted to, and the other reason was that I took it upon myself to write Undertale Pacifist. So that was the most difficult. I don't know if I would say it would be the most difficult that I'll ever do, but it's pretty high up there.
Most difficult project. Well, technically the only VA projects I've really done are the Secret of Mana Theater and the Undertale with Voices. But to give an honest answer, I would probably have to say more of a combination between both. Mainly the Secret of Mana one, though, was my first VA project. Well, I guess you could say fan-made VA project, though the other voice acting I did in my videos are, again, not very good, but oh well. But I would have to say Secret of Mana mainly because it was my first one ever going with it, so it was me starting to learn how to go with it, though, learning the flow, learning how going through the process of having to constantly look over your takes or redo your takes, thinking, oh, there's some background noise in here, there's a line I messed up, there's me forgetting what I'm doing in the first place. Let me look over it though. So for me, I guess I would have to say Secret of Mana Theater. But as for other projects concerned, it would have to be the Altair Annie VA series, because I am not even in it.
Oh my god.
I'll just start with the first project that they did, rather than the With Voices series at the moment. So, yeah, as I mentioned before, the first project that I've ever done was a game back in 2012 called Nuclear Unicorn Force. So, last time I remember, I recall just trying way too hard to get the voice down, and that's kind of the thing. I pretty much just cared more about the voice rather than playing a character, and so that was that was the difficult part, was just trying to read the lines while staying in that voice, and so rather than staying in that character. That was just me, pretty much, like I said, starting out, not knowing what I'm doing other than, oh, I got casted for something, I don't know why. So, even though I auditioned for it. So, as far as With Voices stuff, I have to pick between Secret of Mana Theater with Voices or Undertale with Voices, because those are the only series that I've done. So, in which case, I honestly don't know. I mean, with Secret of Mana Theater with Voices, I actually had no problems. I didn't really have much problems handing in lines, as far as I remember just churning them out as Seth. You'd think that, oh, this is because I got a main character role where it's a bit more difficult, because I gotta hand them out as soon as I can. But I don't know. I just didn't really have a problem with that. But I guess I could just go with Undertale with voices being a little more difficult because I have more characters and
My most difficult with voices project was probably Mogako Castle, just because it was my first one, and learning habits and learning how to work with voice stuff and with microphone stuff and just pretty much everything about it. It was very challenging, but it was, I think, a good first step.
I sort of want to say both Secret of Mana Theater as well as Undertale with voice. For Secret of Mana Theater, it was difficult because at first I was all about turning in my lines as soon as I could because I'm all about being on time. I didn't really fully develop my character trying to understand Autumn. But like as it went on, I started to be a bit more connected with her character, which made her seem a bit better. Not extremely good though. And for Undertale with voices, it was mainly because freaking like igniting my competitive soul. I have so many voices.
Yeah, voice-wise, I don't have that kind of a project where my voice wouldn't fit per se, but there was this one animated thing where basically the script was, I was supposed to play this hero guy who goes traveling and is actually much older. And the way the script was given to me, that there was only my lines and no context, and I've done a couple of those kind of scripts, so I thought, hey, this would be an easy job. So, but I think I got my performance right about 70% of the time, but the fact is that the character was also much older than I thought, so when the final production came out, at least I personally thought that my voice didn't entirely match it. Although, if I had known about some of the reveals from the character, I would have probably done the whole role differently.
Hardest one I will ever do. Oh boy. Actually, the most difficult one that I've done so far is gonna be Undertale with voices. A good part of that is because it's actually going to be two series, Undertale with Voices Genocider and Undertale with Voices Pacifist. So that in and of itself makes it a pretty long and ongoing project. But one of the things that I've found myself constantly doing is cross-referencing the script at like a constant rate, you know, when I'm doing the lines. So that means things take just a little bit longer. Secret of Mana Theater, each episode I can kind of crank out within the better part of a week, but each episode of Undertale with voices, especially these later ones where, you know, I've just written the script not knowing how long the episodes will be, each one might end up being like closer to 3 to 4 weeks. The fortunate thing is that Genocider is now halfway done, so I'm pretty happy with that. But, you know, I do want to move on to bigger and better things, you know, who knows. One of the things I'd like to do would involve full-on sprite animation, but at this point, you know, yeah, sprite animation with voices, might I add. But, you know, that is some pretty advanced stuff. The two big things I need to have happen in order for that to work is that, one, I would need more people donating to my Patreon, and I'd also need more people kind of like advertising about it. You know, I'd need to kind of get this out there and get some attention, and the best thing to do would be to be in a position where I could pretty much work on the With Voices series full time, as opposed to, doing like a part-time job and switching gears in between. So this next one is from Mr. Game Guy Color, which is
can I read it?
You want to read it? All right, go ahead, read it.
Sure. Oh, jeez. Why do I do these? Because I enjoy it. Alright. To everyone, what's your favorite typo, aka misspelled word?
Well, one time I saw an ad for Angus burgers, only it didn't say Angus, it said anus burgers.
Of course it would.
That sounds
Of course it would.
delicious.
Can I vote for that too?
By all means, I'm not picky, go right ahead.
Alright.
2 for that.
You know what? I have a favorite typo I just discovered. Have you guys seen Gravity Falls?
No, I have. Sorry.
A little bit.
One of the things is that they have, they live in the Mystery Shack where Grunkle Stan works, but then what happens is that the S kind of dropped off. They tried to reattach it, but like the S sort of fell off again, so instead of Mystery Shack, it says Mystery Hack. Because basically, Uncle Stan is pretty much like a shyster, showing these false paranormal things in a town where there's a lot of actual paranormal activity.
That's a good, clean, fun typo.
I don't really have a typo, but I have a missaid word, which is Dager.
Squid! Squid! Seth, I'm gonna get you with my Squid Dagger!
That's gonna be in an upcoming episode.
I know you. I know. Well, you spell boy as in B-O-I. So.
I guess my favorite typo would have to be Cloud things to himself from the Eternal Darkness fanfiction. Cloud thinks to himself. He thinks to himself a lot. So, honorable mention goes to an old typo from one of my old videos called "Together Forever."
Well, if we are asking for an English typo or in my mother language typo, but
Either one.
Either or works.
well, I can come up with a certainly funny typo from the top of my head, but there are a couple of times where my name has been misspelled or such. The extra N in the end of my last name, or something like that. It is Mali, so sometimes they ask and put an extra N at the end. I've sometimes done that. Oh yeah, now I remember the typo. The one project where me and Mikey were, and in the first version his name was misspelled to Michael.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite typo.
Oh, that's mine too!
Okay, so let's take care of the rest of this. This is actually going to be a two-parter right here. The second part is going to be for everyone individually. So, let's see, this one's for me. Out of curiosity, why did you pick the names Cheech and Blue Rhapsody? Okay, so back in my fledgling days of internet exploring, which was around the time when I got to college, I got into an anime called One Piece. And, it's like a nice piratey anime. And then I discovered a forum for One Piece, which was, really fun. They had places where you could watch episodes of One Piece and stuff like that. And one of the characters was known as Blackbeard, aka Marshall D. Teach. So I decided to choose that name for myself on the forums that I was going to, and from then on, I that kind of stuck with me. As for Blue Rhapsody, I actually got that one from Fantasia 2000. There's that one song called Rhapsody in Blue, and I liked it. I liked the animation in that one. It was basically, that one was an animation set during the Depression, but it was like really jazzy, and it showed like all these multiple stories. It was one of Disney's better animations for Fantasia 2000. It's a shame that they haven't been able to continue with the Fantasia thing. I would not mind seeing another one, even though, there is a whole lack of story and stuff like that in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully we won't have to wait another 50 years for the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, the next question is for me. What is your advice for trying to establish the main flow for writing a story? What I would suggest is just knowing your character really well and what you want to accomplish with it. I mean, that's what I did with Pacifist Brisk. I just kind of knew the approach they wanted to take with him, and I knew sort of person he was, and I just had him respond to everything within Undertale Pacifist with that in mind.
Your main motivation to play both the lead role in Mogiko Castle and Great Bird. I don't think there was much motivation per se. It just kind of happened. I auditioned for Yanaka because I saw it on the Voice Acting Alliance forums, and he had cast pretty much everybody else, and Yanaka was still up, and I was like, well, this looks cute. I'll just give it a shot. Got nothing to lose. And then I got it, and then he was like, well, we're doing another project. Look at these characters. Do any of them look interesting? I'm like, yeah. And I kind of did a little voice piece for each of the 4 main girls. And he was like, your Yosifier's good. You want to be Yosifier? And I was like, all right. So it just fell that way.
Do you remember how you did the other voices?
I tried doing something Fluttershy-ish for Macarona, but my voice doesn't go that high, so it didn't work so well. Froze, I tried to do something monotone-ish, but I had never done anything monotone before, but I also gave her an English accent. It actually came out quite a bit like my Greif, just a little less sinister. And Raw Berry, I don't remember. I think it was kind of close to my own voice. Mikey.
Alright. Do you practice on wordplay or rehearse very often? If so, do you have an advice? Let's see. Practice on wordplay or rehearse very often? Well, I know that I read some things and did some classes that suggested warm-ups and stuff like that, but what I've mainly done, as far as like warming up in general, it's like, it's something that you can pretty much do anywhere, in your car, in your shower, and stuff like that. And I always screw around with my voice as far as like billboards passing by, or just I could just think of a song where I could just sing in the character voice rather than just my own. But as far as before I actually record, I do in fact read lines before I record them to make sure that this is where I want to go. So I know that there's like a suggestion that you should be recording as you start recording, but but no, it just seems like it works so much better for me just to read it out first, and then my second take is my real one, and it could either come out good or I just do it again. I basically just do the line as much time as I need to, and that's basically how they turn out. If you guys like it.
All right.
Oh, and as far as advice, that was pretty much it. It's just basically, you're not gonna obviously want to do that out in the open as far as like just everybody's gonna stare at you when it's like you're just some crazy guy shouting at stuff. It's like those windows really do help you. Yeah.
How flexible do you think your voice is when voice acting from your experience?
I think that my voice acting skills made my voice more flexible than it was before. When I first started Secret of Mana Theater, I didn't think that I would be able to have such a high voice. For Autumn, I didn't think I would be able to go that high, but after some time, I was able to reach it, and I was able to reach even higher voices. I think my voice is pretty flexible now. I still can't do anything too major, like, voicing deep male dudes or guys above the age of 15. I might be able to pull off a 16-year-old guy, but I don't think I can. I can only do preteens and such.
As for question 2, when playing the role for a character, what do you take into account when trying to portray them? Example, personality, mood, setting, etc.
Yeah, recently I've starting to take into some roles that I started to keep this kind of role diary where before I start to perform the role, I read the script, and based on that information, I think what kind of life they had before this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done that lately, but I've done it a couple of times, and I guess there have come some good results from the ones that have been published stuff. I did it for the Secret of Mana characters, but I didn't do for the Undertale characters. But I'm not sure if there's how much difference. Doesn't it 100% match what I've thought their personality based on the script is and what is and how the rest of the characters see them? But yeah, I've started doing that, and also I'm trying to make my voice sound that differently if I have to play multiple characters. There are some of my first projects where I played multiple characters, I had been criticized that they sound too similar, but I hope I've gotten better at it.
I guess the next question is, to myself, is fanfiction canon? Obvious answer is obviously no, but in some fanfictions that I've read, though, I found them to be quite interesting, so in some sort of strange, morbid way, I do like to think in a certain way they're I do like to think fanfictions in a way are canon. In sort of a, I guess you could say, headcanon-esque, but nope. To answer the question, nope. But I like to think that some of the times. Cloud thinks to himself all the time.
He does. That's canon.
He does a lot of that on For Glory. I'm sick of seeing that.
Okay, so from Number Name, 2 questions for you, Teach. What was your favorite With Voices series, and why the genocide route for your Undertale With Voices series? Alright, I'm gonna say my favorite With Voices series so far is Secret of Mana Theater With Voices, because a lot of things kind of went well for me. I got a lot of good actors for that one, for one. A lot of them are here right now. Let's see. It's also around the time when I began doing the Skype chat. But plus, Secret of Mana Theater is a lot easier for me to do, because all the real work is done for me. I literally just have to get voices and sounds and plunk them in and stuff. But the interesting thing was, originally I was going for a simple series to work on, something that was going to be easy, that would be used for my 1,000 subscriber reward, you know. But then I had to record the episodes, and I watched them, and a lot of the stuff, a lot of the story, the animation, the characters and stuff, a lot of that held up, and I really got into it and I really liked it. It was really fun to watch, even after all these years. I mean, I did watch some of it back when I was in college, a long time ago, like 2003, 2004-ish, but, just coming back to it, it's like, it's a real refresher for me, and I kind of enjoyed it in a whole new way. And as for the other question, why the genocide route? That reason is twofold. First off, I know that there's a lot of Undertale fan works, like fan comics and voice stuff, and I did have a feeling that a lot of people would start with the pacifist run right off the bat. But the other thing was that going through Undertale, I realized that there were basically two storylines, and to get the full picture, you really needed to experience them both. The genocide route where everyone dies, and then essentially the pacifist route, which is also an extension of the normal route, where, you allow some of the monsters to live, or you don't kill everyone and whatnot. I decided to go with genocide first because I like to experience the good stuff last. The best tasting stuff I like to experience last. I like to finish with a good taste in my mouth. And I feel like, that would be good with Undertale. I mean, it would be such a downer if I did this nice, big, happy ending and then say, here's genocide, by the way. Everyone dies.
Yeah. I can see that logic, because a lot of people experience the genocide after pacifist.
You're very lucky that great taste and happy ending aren't in the same sentence.
Oh boy.
Of course you would.
Oh boy.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
Beautiful.
So since Mr. Game Guy went out of his way to ask all these questions to us, thank you, by the way, I figured I'd ask him a question. For a project in home economics class, Kirk is making a tablecloth for a circular table 3 feet in diameter. Finished tablecloth needs to hang down 5 inches over the edge of the table all the way around. To finish the edge of the tablecloth, Kirk will fold under and sew down 1 inch of the material all around the edge. Kirk is going to use a single piece of rectangular fabric that is 60 inches wide. What is the shortest length of fabric in inches Kirk could use to make the tablecloth without putting any separate pieces of fabric together?
The shortest one. That's an interesting question. Well, first of all, he would have to convert all the length and all the small priorities in order to come with that. He may have to look that up and go for the various code Notepad C++ and convert from hex editor F9 in order to determine the I have no idea where the hell I'm going with that. 6 inches. 6 inches.
Amaya Munoz. For Teach, why is your voice so majestic? But my serious question is, why is your male Etsy voice so sexy? Because that's how I want to do it, darling.
Oh my god.
The G gods were on his side when he was born.
Yeah. Because...
Albert, no!
He's just a big tease. Etsy was just a big tease overall.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a fun ride, even though it was so short. You kind of want to see where else they could go with that and stuff. But it was nice for an April Fool's joke, believe it or not.
It was. I agree.
So from Ridley Me this. So this question is for Teach. Why do you use OST from other games? For example, on Undertale with Voices Poor, I made a comment pointing how often you use the OST from Pokemon Black and White in any of your voice series. Not that I mind, 9 times out of 10, I agree with whatever original soundtrack you use in a scene. Basically, I will switch off to an original soundtrack for a couple of reasons. One being, there's no music. Like, I remember the whole confrontation with Ivlis in episode 19. There's no music in that thing. None whatsoever.
It's just dead silence.
It's like dead silence, and I guess that was supposed to provide a mood or something like that, but to me it kind of came off as being a bit lazy. So, I added in some cool stuff, And two, I do it to kind of improve the scene. A lot of my way of thinking for the With Voices series is that simply putting in voices for something is not going to be enough. And then a number of cases it wasn't enough because, you have some moments where you have to extend or shorten the thing, and then the music comes off very choppy if you do that. So you have to, replace the entire soundtrack for that. Stuff like that. So sometimes I want to have a little fun. Sometimes I think there's a music piece that'll come off better, so I will use that one instead. Next question from Kelly Tat. I have a question for all of you guys. Who was the hardest character to voice? Also, congrats on the 2nd anniversary. Thank you, Kelly Tat.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you very much. You are so kind.
It is much appreciated.
Sans, without a doubt, Sans. I really had to focus to get the right voice for Sans. And it took a lot of practice.
You know what? For me, it was Poemi. Because, believe it or not, I was trying to find someone to do the voice of Poemi, and Poemi kind of speaks in like this cutesy baby voice, and none of the people who applied for the part was able to get it the way I wanted it to be. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this myself. So I tried my best to do this sort of cute, whiny little baby voice sort of thing, and then I go and I raise the pitch, and then it sounds a lot more cutesy that way. But then, to repeat the experience, you have to figure out, okay, how did I get that particular voice again? And how high do I have to raise that pitch? Stuff like that. So, yeah, mine is Poemi's.
Oh, me? Oh, jeez. Well, for Secret of Mana Theater, Henry was obviously not a difficult voice for me to do. Anyone can pick up on that. I would probably have to say probably Pancake. Not so much for actually doing the voice, but it was more just the task of just trying to sync myself up with everyone else's voices, since everyone speaks at a different rate. That was it's not a fun process to do the same, but I'm very happy with the execution and how you edited it together, though. I think it turned out very well.
Thank you.
But yes, the hardest voice was probably Pancake. Not actually doing the voice, but just combining it with everyone else. But as for Undertale, oh boy, it would probably have to be Snowdrake. Not so much for doing the voices, but it was just trying to still get that mental image of I was intentionally supposed to sound bad. That's one thing I kept repeating myself, though. It's like, okay, I have to make this sound listenable. And then I remember, oh, I'm not supposed to sound listenable. So it was sort of kind of like a little mental struggle I was going through.
Yeah, it's sort of like, you want him to be annoying, but you don't want him to go full retard.
Yeah, I wanted
that, what is it? That
Go ahead.
Thunderclap movie, or I forget what the name of the movie is, but yeah, it's like, you don't want to ever go full retard. Or something like that.
I get what you mean. I'm supposed to sound bad.
Tropic Thunder.
Yes, that's the one.
Tropic Thunder.
Go full retard.
I mean, the hardest character to voice, if it was like the hardest voice to do, it would be like, no, it's not. Okay, so, so this is like I said, the follow-up to what I was talking about earlier about hard voices. And so far, it's Flowey and Gerson. Gerson first because I don't often do old people voices, and so that's basically the one where I actually have to do multiple takes to make sure that I get the lines down. So there's that, and I know that what I what I actually had to do, I had like not a cane, but something to kind of hold like one so that I can get into character and play an old person. So I think it was like, I forgot what it was called, but it was like a light bulb tube that I had, and that sometimes helps. But I've done that without it too, and it just seems the same, so no biggies. And then Flowey, I don't know if it's been shown yet, but I've had to do a lot of scream laughing, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's basically when he gets like ultra violent, evil, it's where he has to pretty much yell or just to make him look menacing and stuff like that. So it's just, I mean, it doesn't hurt my voice to do that. It's just that to make but just to make sure that I can pull that off, it's like I have to go all out with the loudness, and so. Plus, it really helped to know that because when I recorded for Genocide, I had no idea that my voice was going to be pitched up. So now that I know, it does kind of help that that no matter what I do, my voice will be pitched up anyways. So even if it goes a little close to how I normally sound with my either whether I go towards my natural voice or whether I slightly pitch it up to make myself look all friendly, it's like regardless, it's still gonna sound the same after that pitch. So that really does help, but this character is still a difficult character to voice.
Mm-hmm. You're doing a good job performing. I'm enjoying your performance on him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think my most difficult would have to be Toriel, just because it's a voice that I don't do normally and don't have a lot of experience doing. So a lot of the time it's trying to make sure that the performance is there as well as making the voice consistent. So, yeah, there's that.
All right.
I thought you did a pretty good job doing, because I know that you did. I forgot a character's name, but there's like
which one?
There was so in the Great Garden of Voices. There's the teacher, and then there's like the
Refical.
Yeah, Refical's
her. So
Gripe.
her, and then the other one, the devil.
Oh,
Yeah,
Refical.
Refical.
So I mean, both of them are mature sounding voices, and I think you did a pretty good job pulling that off.
Thank you.
So
I suppose for me, the hardest voice had to be Autumn, mainly because as I started voicing her, my voice, I kept thinking that she was a high-pitched girl, like a girl who had like a really high voice. So I kept thinking, oh, I need to go higher. I need to, and I keep trying to keep trying to sound as small as she would. So yeah, that was. She was definitely the hardest. I would say Winsome from Undertale Voices. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I would say Winsome because that voice is higher than Autumn's. But it wasn't all that bad because I got used to speaking in such a high voice. Thanks to Autumn.
Well, from the ones I've done to Blue Rhapsody, I think it's a mad dummy because his voice is the most gravelly and needs the most of the strain or something.
Oh my god.
oh, the dummy, gotcha.
Yeah, the mad dummy.
I love that character.
Oh, we lost
Wasn't
Shannon.
ready for that.
Oh jeez, I think you did a good portrayal of him though. Really getting the nutty side of him.
Oh, you should hear when we get to the pacifist route.
It's just gonna be constant madness throughout the whole thing.
Madness, madness, madness! Well, maybe not that high, but little there! Or something.
Flowey gets to sing the Meow Mix song.
Yes, he does. That won't be for a while though.
What'd you think of that, by the way?
That was fun. Good times. We are down to our last question. From Lucier Gamer. Congratulations on your second year, Teach. Your With Voices series is genius. Now that you have your team, I really hope that you get the audience you deserve for so long in your next projects. Now, a question for Teach. Will the other voice actors from your previous series be helping you in your future projects despite not being on the official team, or have you lost contact with them? Good luck in the channel.
Thanks, man.
Let's see. There are some people that, I still talk to, I can still get voices from. I just have to go in and ask them, and they can get me some. There are a few others that have kind of dropped off or have not been able to do voices due to, life circumstances and whatnot, and, I respect them for it. A lot of the people that I've worked with have at least been able to finish, the projects and stuff, so the simple answer for that question is it really depends on the person, and what they're going through.
Yeah. But if the candidates for the questions though haven't made it clear though, yes, some of us are still around. Yeah.
I'll definitely allow people to, come back and do more voice acting, but I would like to also include some new people into the mix too. I think that would be nice.
Yeah, there you go. Build a little community for this.
Build up the community. It will definitely help us grow in that light. You did good. All right. I think that's pretty much it for the With Voices question. I know Mint's gonna.